Radical pastor who compared Trump to Hitler is pushed out of a liberal church by fed-up parishioners. A pastor who compared Donald Trump's election to the gathering dark of Hitler's rule has been ousted from his church. Reverend Dr. Ben Boswell, take note of that doctor thing, just because you're a PhD doesn't mean... Anyway, has been asked to step down from his position at the liberal Myers Park Baptist in Charlotte, North Carolina. You notice Myers Park is also a Methodist place of import. The decision came weeks after he delivered a blistering sermon in which he warned that Trump's election would lead to a crucifixion of migrants and transgender and non-binary people. The president was elected on a platform promising mass deportations and made an executive order stating there are only two genders among his first actions on taking office. Many believe they have lost more than an election. Many believe they have lost their rights and their freedom, their autonomy, their faith, their country, Boswell said. I feel like I'm reading the United Methodist Bishops, don't you? Our faith also teaches us that every crucifixion needs a witness. The fight is not over, it's just beginning. So, hyperbolic dramatic speech, crucifixion, we got to fight. You know, this level of hysteria and anxiety, we've been at this fever pitch for a long time. We've got to come down. You know, religious leaders, we got to quit. The sermon received a standing ovation from the congregation, but not long after, the church's board voted 17 versus 3 to ask Boswell to resign. The audio obtained by NPR board members cited dismal attendance as a reason for the decision. How dismal was the attendance? During Boswell's tenure, attendance has plunged by around 200, down from 350. So they're now down at like 150. So the thing I wanted to remark on a little bit, quote, Ben has been given every chance to change his words and actions to appeal to a broader audience, but has not been successful in doing so. Then head Marcy McClanahan said, quote, we have got to put more butts in the seats. Butts in the seat, Deacon Robert Doolin added. So a lot of people read this article and said, yeah, you know, like this guy got what was coming to him. And but, you know, here's the thing. If the reason someone is wrong for preaching something is people are leaving in response, I'm just not on board with that, y'all. I'm of the mind that a person can be preaching the pure word of Jesus Christ, and a lot of people just aren't interested in that. And they might have been there and they were hearing a different gospel, and once you start preaching the pure gospel, they just don't want to hear that, and they'll leave. So I don't want to participate in a kind of commentary kind of culture where, hey, this church is shrinking, and that automatically indicates that the leadership is not Christian. I'm a capitalist, and I believe in the free market. Even so, I don't believe that the church participates in that setup. I believe that the church is offering a message that humans hate and don't like, and that the only thing that gives them a hunger for the word is Christ building that hunger in them and extending that faith to them. And unless he does that, people are going to hate the church. And it does seem to me that at times and places, the Holy Spirit is more active in some places than others. Sometimes it seems to me that God gives people over to themselves, and you'll find a population that really just isn't drawn to Jesus. And so you can either then do the capitalist kind of song and dance, hey, preach a good, feel-good message, draw them with sugar water, don't talk about the gospel too much, don't make them uncomfortable, or you can just preach Christ and him crucified and trust that the Holy Spirit is going to draw who needs to be drawn. So that's obviously what I'm more sympathetic with. My problem with this guy is just he's using a pulpit to exacerbate tensions in the country and build resentment. And, you know, I'm of the mind, I've said it several times, liberal Christianity is actually a different religion, has a different gospel, has a different salvation paradigm. All of the theology is radically reworked with the same terminology so that people get confused by it, but it's a different religion. So when you have a Christian pulpit that is then taken over by a reverend doctor liberal who is preaching this kind of stuff, I just find it really dishonest. You know, start your own liberal church that is under the liberal gospel, and then if it shrinks, which it will, because there's the only thing less compelling than authentic Christianity. Well, I shouldn't say compelling. It is the only thing less attractive to our culture than authentic Christianity is counterfeit Christianity. So there's that. Any closing remarks on this Baptist church? It seems like you guys made a good decision getting rid of this guy. Your reasoning for doing so isn't very good. I hope you, if you don't already, meet and learn to love the living Lord so that you're indifferent to numbers and you have clarity about who belongs in the pulpit, not based on how many butts you get in pews, but based on whether or not the message you're getting is biblical and it's pointing people into their Bibles and to righteous living.